what they do on and off the field with their kids. They've both produced an incredibly large amount of terrific college lacrosse players.
And college people.
Sure.
Inside feed. Oh, what a save by Fellheimer. Shrugs it off.
There's Haverford, guilty of exactly what Landon was guilty of. Caught ball watching on the crease. Fellheimer made a great one-on-one save. He's a big kid. He fills up a lot of the cage. When we did our game earlier this year, Booker, we were both really impressed with Fellheimer's game. He stopped a lot of quality opportunities that Boys Latin had.
Here's Haverford back on offense. First quarter brought to you by the Valley Inn. Of course, this is the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week, presented by FCA, as we get a little strip on the far side. Gratuitous bounce. And for Haverford, number 4, Peyton Holloway picks up the loose change.
I think this was Salvaggio, Adam. He's another one of these attackmen that they're running at midfield. Great check. Ball's on the ground. There's Salvaggio. Right place at the right time.
I gotta get my better eyes in, Bob. That's 2 in a row.
That was a nifty little play by Salvaggio.
Hey, Bob Shriver wins the race to nifty. You gotta love that. As Bo and Testacos get back at it at the face-off dot.
Threw the ball away, trying to throw it back to the goalie, making the right play, just made a bad pass. Oftentimes those face-off guys, when they come out of the scrum, their stick is all bent out of shape, and you frequently see them make some not questionable passes, the right pass, but it just doesn't work as they hope it will.
Landon perfectly happy moving the ball around right now. They haven't had it on offense in a while. Settle things down. Nice drive at the cage by 23, Jace Menendez, senior midi. And this is Epstein who will bring it in. Number 1, he's a Johns Hopkins commit. Already has 1 goal today.
Tremendous change of direction that we just saw there.
And there it is. And Bob, just like the day after a bad chili cook-off.
We're knotted here at 2.
You're knotted at deuces.
Watch Epstein. We talked about this at the opening, Booker. One of his go-to moves is a change of direction. His first goal, he changed from right to left for a left-handed goal. There he changes from left to right. He got that guy hung up on the back of the cage. Makes a beautiful shot, just bounces it past the goalie. Watch this change of direction. Boom.
And as a defender gets a little hung up in the netting, and that's a credit to Epstein.
Correct.
He definitely had a little hitch in his giddy-up right there. Little Bo pushes it forward, and Landon looking to capitalize.
Well, again, I'll go back to that number 19 that's been a source of huge pride to the Landon program. It goes to their main face-off guy. Well, last year's face-off guy, and one of the reasons Landon was the best team in the country, I think his first name's Justin Shockley. He goes to Maryland, and he is just sensational. As a freshman, he's doing wonderful things at the University of Maryland. So Will's got some big shoes to fill.
And at Landon last year, I don't want to over-exaggerate it, but he won more than 80% of his faceoffs. I mean, that's not, if anything, it's over 85%. He just absolutely was dominant, and like you said, that number 19 is a coveted hand-me-down for face-off guys year after year. Inside feed.
Nice move.
Great dodge by Kurtz.
He's got a little giddy up, it looks like. They played him at attack earlier in the game. Now he's playing midfield. I think he's rotating a little bit with number 25, 21, Hertzberg. They'll switch positions during the course of the day. Flip back between midfield and attack.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes huddles camps teams, building 3-dimensional athletes and coaches. Learn more at fcalax.com. And we're thrilled to have Towson Hot Bagels sponsoring all of our man-ups. And they do catering as well. Bob, are you a Towson Hot Bagel guy?
I really don't eat bagels too much, but I know how good Towson Hot Bagels is. I might go in and get an egg.
Yeah, you can do that.
An egg and some bacon or something. Correct. It's a great place.
They'll accommodate Coach Bob Shriver.
It's in my hood.
And it's a very popular place. Very popular. Here is Haverford.
if you watch Haverford offensively, I just want to keep emphasizing that they're very comfortable flipping positions. They rotate a bunch of different guys in their midfields. You know, they don't have a set first group, second group that many teams do. This is Salvaggio with Glavin, as well as Holway. And this is a downhill runner. Salvaggio is a big, strong kid, and he's matched up against
Mosilla. And Mosilla's a football star, so it's going to be a tough time bulldodging him. He gets the shot off, but Laughlin with the clean save, no rebound. And here come the Landon Bears. The Bears are one of those programs that ever since like 1975, 80, they've had fantastic squads. The 1980 team, their only loss was to St. Mary's. So Landon, they are not a newcomer on the block by any means.
Again, executing, you know, perfection on the clear. We're winding the clock down here in the first quarter. I think Coach Bordley will look to see if he can't get the last shot of this quarter.
First quarter brought to you by the Valley Inn. Your friends at the Valley Inn want to make sure you have an absolutely great time. Get to the Valley Inn on Falls Road, and if you're having a graduation party, or if you're looking to have some kind of celebration, maybe an anniversary party, you can use the Valley Room upstairs or that out back. The Valley Inn patio is set to open. It opens today. Opening day, Bob.
Well, the weather is clearing up really nicely, so the patrons of the Valley Inn are in for a beautiful afternoon.
Great friendly staff as Haverford wins the backup. Still 19 seconds left in the quarter. If they push it, they can make something happen. Here's Garno stepping onto the field, number 33.
Gonna have to go to the goal hard.
And they do go hard. Shot! Rings off the inside of the post and goes in with 1.7 left.
Well,
I tell you, Bob, that's a smart play.
Haverford recognized the clock winding down. They pushed the ball hard. Nice clear to the far side of the field, staying away from the substitute box, clearing the ball. This is an earlier goal where McBride threw it across here to Malone when Landon got caught ball watching. That's the first goal of the game for the Haverford Fords. Nothing's going to happen here. Yeah. Both these guys will just stand up and go to the sideline for the quarter break.
And that is the end of the first quarter, brought to you by the Valley Inn. You're watching the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes engages their coaches and athletes to grow their faith through sport. Make sure you investigate the amazing camp at Lebanon Valley College this July. The FCA has camps, clinics, huddles, teams. Learn more about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes by going to fcalax.com.
And here's a replay of that last goal. What a great take by Haverford.
That's Peyton. Oh, no, that was number
Scott
14.
Deck.
Excuse me, Scott Deck. Again, recognizing the clock's winding down. He's really got no choice other than to go hard to the goal, and he did. Made a tremendous play. Got Haverford that goal with 1.7 seconds left on the clock.
So he had time to spare.
He had a lot of time to spare, but you know, most people would say, you know, coaches in particular are always talking about not giving up goals at the end of quarters and the halves. You know, they just typically, you know, they leave a bad taste in your mouth during a timeout or during a quarter break or a halftime break.
And conversely, you want to be that team that scores that goal, because it does. It puts some little poison in their huddle.
It clearly does that as well.
I remember we used to capitalize on Boys Latin a lot in that situation and the quarters. Here is Wilbo, number 19, for Landon, and Chris Testakos. Two guys who are just battling out. It's 50-50 so far, but here's Testakos coming down. Luke O'Grady.
Testakos that time, excuse me, Booker, he might have been able to throw that ball through to the low right-handed attackman, but he elected to give it to the point man, and obviously
low risk,
high reward because they got possession. They're able to bring their middies on the field.
And you'd love to see kids throwing that diagonal pass.
Well, it was there for him. He just he didn't see it. That's okay. Haverford's happy with the ball.
Gavin Burke, number 22, in. Salvaggio, little wing dodge for him. Stays right-handed. Shot goal, Salvaggio.
Well, we watched him right at the end of the first half. He took Sala to the goal when he was driving hard right-handed down the right-hand alley. This time, look, he gets the ball in the left-hand alley, and typically you want to force him to his left hand, but he gets his right hand, strong hand back because he's so big. He's really hard to match up with and is able to basically dunk it. Look at this play.
Here you see him. He shields the ball and then comes out of it with a nice tight little Paris Hilton right there.
So far the face-offs are dead even, 3-3, I believe, Booker.
Oh, yeah. Wilbo wins the clamp this time. Pressured, goes back to his goaltender and landed with the win on the face-off. But they trail 4-2 now, landing in their home whites. Haverford Road Maroons. Second quarter brought to you every time by your friends at the Mason-Dixon Lacrosse Tournament. Make sure you check out that. Go to cselax.com and learn about the Mason-Dixon Lacrosse Tournament.
Landon, the bell's on. They need to get it into this box in 10 seconds. Nice job.
And Landon goes off sides on the rushed clear. So credit Haverford's ride a little bit there, but right now they run a little bit hectic. Things getting to a frantic pace. No Silla comes away with that one and promptly gives it right back to O'Grady, who bounces it down. And now Haverford with it. Possession.
Great handle. Terrific handle. We got a flag down. Free possession for Haverford. That was a great handle by short stick defensive midfielder for Haverford, Jack Denius. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. That's Jack Leary, number 16. Really nice handle.
Garno across the top to Gavin Burke. Here's Burke right by the flag.
I believe this penalty is going to be a 1-minuter, so Haverford in a perfect world would score, and then they'd have a 3-on-2 face-off with an extra man. It's a big possession for Landon.
Salvaggio turning the corner, desk pop, and that will bring about the foul. We got a cross check is the call. Man Up's brought to you by Towson Hot Bagels, THB Bagelry and Deli Breakfast, Lunch, and Catering. Download our new app, MyTHB, today. And, of course, the official car of MIAA Lacrosse is Toyota. What drives you? Shop Toyota for legendary safety and reliability. Toyota, let's go places.
Haverford starting in the same set they did on their last Man Up, a
1-4-1. As a coach, do you like to start in the same set no matter what play it is, or you let them go where they were going to be?
I don't know whether there's a right way to answer that or a wrong way to answer it. You know, you watch Syracuse, who's got typically a tremendous extra man. They do the same thing every extra man, and they've been doing it for years upon years. So, nice cut.
Great cut by McBride. Nice look by Garno.
Snuck in under the defense from his position behind the goal. I think 14 looks like he's getting ready to cut back down the field in that 1-4 set. We rolled somebody off, excuse me.
Inside behind the back attempt by Malone.
The crease. Great save.
Great save by Mitch Laughlin. Junior goaltender. Ball then goes down on the carpet. And it's backhanded. Nifty little backhand. Doesn't count for the race, but still nifty. Nice ground ball pickup by Haverford's number 26, Edward King. And Haverford with a free possession. Backside, that's going to be white ball. No backup there. Transition's a tough time for backup.
Transition so far in this game, I would say that Haverford is very, very intent on pushing transition. They've had a couple really good looks. They don't hesitate to go to the goal when the opportunity presents itself. And Landon, I would say, is a little bit more settled, if you will. You know, they want to get the ball on offense, run a couple good patterns, keep the ball for a possession. So far, that's what we've seen. Get the ball to Joey Epstein.
Yep. I'd like to see Geppert get into the mix a little bit. Haverford's been doing a nice job of denying him.
Here we go.
Here is Geppert. Oh, what a save. He's going high to high, but Fellheimer climbs the ladder, and now we're going transition back the other way. This is what you paid for, folks.
They have a 5-on-4. He can throw it back to the trailer. Landon did a great job getting in and checking up.
Nice save by Fellheimer there on Geppert.
Here's the big guy again.
Yep. Adam Salvaggio.
They want to get the pole on him. Landon wants to make a switch. They did put the pole on Salvaggio.
Here's O'Grady down to McBride. McBride, not unlike Sidney Moncrief, the old Arkansas Razorback star, teams basketball in the day, slasher type player. Malone behind, guarded by Wellington. Here's O'Grady.
O'Grady, a natural attackman playing up top. Sometimes a little disconcerting to a defensive player who's used to playing somebody from behind the goal.
Shot clock slapped onto Haverford. That's the second time today. And here's Malone. He's testing the waters a little bit. Looks to turn the corner, pops it back out. Hallway with some time. 15 on the shot clock. Hallway, time, room, goal. Peyton Hallway.
That's the second time the shot clock's been on for Haverford that they've scored a goal.
Yeah.
The first goal of the game was scored with the shot clock on. This one was scored with the shot clock on. So Haverford showing the ability to push the ball hard in transition pretty impressively. When they don't have it, they like to run some pattern offense, and they've been able to capitalize both times.
As a longtime coach, with the new shot clock, the way it's running with the 30 seconds automatic, where are you on teams going zone as soon as the opponent has a shot clock on them?
Personally, I've always liked to see defensive change up a little bit.
Yeah.
Give the other team some different looks. It makes
Agreed.
them be prepared for different things going on in the game. And clearly, typically teams, when they see a zone come at them, they want to spread out and throw the ball around a circle, and it does slow them down a little bit.
And
might give you a better chance, of having some success defensively.
Mitch Laughlin with the save on Garno, but Haverford comes up with a timeout. John Nostrand. Second quarter brought to you by your friends at the Mason-Dixon Lacrosse Shootout. Make sure you check that out, cselax.com. This is the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
The champions of today inspire the stars of tomorrow over Memorial Day weekend. Just as the stars of college lacrosse will compete for the 2018 NCAA Championship in Foxborough, Massachusetts, youth lacrosse players from across the nation will also be playing for a title at the NCAA Future Champions Tournament. Each team will receive 20 tickets to the NCAA Championships and have the opportunity to be recognized on the field at Gillette Stadium. To learn more, check us out at cselax.com.
Back at Homewood Field, you see Haverford's coming out of the timeout. The nice timeout call by Coach Nostrand. Their offense getting together, trying to sort a couple things out. They're doing well. They're excelling right now with a 5-2 lead. Bob, what do you like so far about what Haverford's doing?
The variety of the way they're playing offense. They push it when they can. They try to get those 4-on-4 opportunities, 5-on-5. And then when they don't, they're very patient, poised, and they've run quality offense. So they've really pulled this lead or gotten this lead doing it a couple different ways, which shows a team that's skilled and actually also very smart. It's hard to play two different ways.
Yep. And they've found a way to do that. Don't go anywhere. The halftime show brought to you by Training Lace. You didn't come this far to only come this far. Go to traininglace.com to learn how Training Lace will make you better. Go to traininglace.com now.
See, this is a little bit of a matchup nightmare for Landon. Garno's on the field with Salvaggio. So Garno, the junior going to Virginia, terrific midi in his own right. He's getting the pole, and Salvaggio has shown he scored 2 goals already. His ability to beat people down, beat somebody matching up with him poorly. So Haverford's taking advantage of some personnel that's causing Landon. Great cut.
Great feed by Hallway. He gets knocked to the turf. TJ Malone with the finish. And Haverford having their way right now with Landon.
Well, Landon typically doesn't struggle like this, if you will, on the defense. But so far, Landon's has not done a very good job playing man-to-man defense and playing off-ball defense. We've seen Haverford this past goal. It's a great cut by Malone and a wonderful feed by Holloway, who just scored the goal before that. There was a foul on the play. They called it post-possession foul.
Dead ball.
Dead ball foul, so
no face-off.
Haverford needs no face-off, and they're getting a chance to add to this 6-2 lead.
Garno down to O'Grady. This is McBride. Garno top center.
Haverford's now, this is actually Syracuse extra man offense. We see 2 triangles.
Inside to McBride, down low. Malone opts for sector 5. O'Grady, great Abe Lincoln's mullet. Luke O'Grady. You'll want to get yourself some low to high, son.
Great extra man by Haverford. They throw the ball in tight quarters to the open guy. Look at this pass right here by McBride. Malone around the goal, and then there's our guy, Luke O'Grady, with a beautiful low to high shot.
The artist formerly known as Mac.
Coach Bordley very much wants the ball, and he wants it in Joey Epstein's stick.
Or Geppert.
Either
Obviously
or.
John Geppert, he's ready to burst. He's on the far wing on the face-off. They're doing a little jab, and Pestakos wins the clamp. Will Bowe quickly gets it to Geppert. Here's Geppert. Shot, goal. John Geppert on demand. Not at the table, Carlos.
Well, if he didn't want the ball in Epstein's hands, as you so nicely said, get it in Geppert's or Epstein's hand. Geppert picks it up off the face-off, and he's got a clear run at the goal. Haverford elects to let him come in, which typically defenses do. On fast breaks, Landon's lined up in a little bit of what we might refer to as a flat break, and it causes some issues for the Haverford defense.
The defenders, they haven't been taught exactly where and when. And those are transition. If you're thinking you're too far behind the play, Pestakos does one better on Will Bowe. Pass into the midsection of O'Grady, bobbles out of bounds, and it's going to be Landon possession.
It's a great matchup at the face-off.
Yeah, it really is.
It seems like it's
so
a little
even.
bit of every other kind of.
It's so even, which is what makes it great. I mean, golly, Shockley last year, and I know Brunswick has a face-off guy, and Culver has a face-off guy who are just head and shoulders better than everyone. So it's fun to watch, but this is a great battle of 2 top-level face-off guys, Pestakos and Bowe. Landed possession. They now trail 7-3. But as I like to say, Bob, it's an itchy little 7-3 game right now. This is Kurtz. Not the Kurtz from Heart of Darkness, but the Kurtz from Landon. The Landon Bears. Did you ever read Heart of Darkness when you were in school?
Who was that? Joseph Conrad?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No, I don't think I ever read it, but I don't know why I know he's the author. Actually, you know, we messed up the numbers. Mo Silla is actually playing Epstein, and he's making it tough for Epstein to get the ball, although now he has it and trying a little bit of his patent change of direction.
I got news for you, Bob, and I know that you're a little bit old, and I love you. But Mo Silla and Joey Epstein play for the same team, so unless it's practice, I don't think Mo Silla's I don't think he's guarding Joey Epstein right now. You're looking at
I'm also dyslexic, so as you know,
unless he's changed teams,
that's
there was
right.
a transferring.
34 Ryan Nigaman, who played very well for Haverford in the earlier game. He's making it a little difficult for Joey to get the ball.
Yep. He's doing a little bit of a deny. Not so much of a lock-off, but like you said, making it hard for him to get it. Here's Geppert. He scored the last goal for Landon. Gets it to Kurtz. Kurtz with a little spinorama.
Not a big guy, but he looks like he's got good feet and the invaluable left hand, which I think is such a big part of having an offense that's very balanced. Having a couple lefties on it.
Here's Epstein against Nigaman. And a shot clock now against Landon. So fair is fair. Oh, shot goal. Number 4, Big Zach Johnson, the senior midi.
Big Zach Johnson headed to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Look at the location of this shot. As you're a goaltender, this is right a little bit below his shoulder on the offside. Watch this shot. Yeah. It's a really hard save to make. Do you put your stick over in front of your face and down, or do you bring it across your body and up? This has got unbelievable placement. See the goalie, he went down to try to get his stick back up, and he couldn't get it there.
Height.
It's just a really, really tough save for a goaltender. You're caught kind of in betwixt and in between.
Number 37 for Haverford, Chris Testakos, going up against number 19, Will Bowe for Landon, again at the face-off dot. Second quarter brought to you by Mason Dixon Lacrosse.
Great ground ball. Timeout, Coach Boardley.
Not his first rodeo. Coach Boardley with a timely timeout. Don't go anywhere at halftime. The Training Lace halftime show is going to be fantastic. 7-4 here at Homewood. And back at Homewood Field, a great facility that's seen so much top-level lacrosse. And we have two of the top high school teams in the nation, two of the top programs. And there's your shot of the Hopkins staff. You got Coach Petro in the center. Bob, what do you think? They're licking their chops?
Well, two things Coach Petromalo is watching, I'm sure, is he's watching his future star. I think Joey Epstein's got a chance to be an exceptional. He's already an exceptional high school player, but be also an exceptional college player. But he's also watching Joey Gebhardt, who just scored that goal, who he's going to have to play against at the University of Maryland. There's a lot of really, and number 4 just scored, Zach Johnson, who just scored for Landon. He's headed to Michigan, which is all part of the Big Ten that Hopkins competes in. So they're watching everybody. He's certainly paying a little bit more attention to his future player.
Saw Coach Bobby Benson up there, Billy Dwan. Big hockey guy, Billy Dwan. Bobby Benson, not so much. I think I saw Bobby, but he's a big skier, though. Bobby.
I was at a game the other day. Bobby had the afternoon off. He was watching a high school game. Culver playing St. Paul's. He had his 2 kids running around the field. That was
Griffin and Tucker.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch. Coach Borley with 2 huge goals to get him back into this game. I think that was a shot that he would prefer Epstein get a little bit closer on. Fellheimer there. Coach Coach Nostrand has a timeout himself. He might look at the matchup, see if he's got something favorable. And if not, maybe he'll call a timeout and try to set something up.
Salvaggio coming in through the box. He's already scored once from this side of the field. They're going to give it back to him. Luke O'Grady gets it right to him and up. Now it's Hallway.
Coach Nostrand looks like he's eyeballing this clock. He may get a timeout here in a couple seconds.
Just to avoid the shot clock, right?
Correct. You know, and hopefully that, you know, he could keep the ball before halftime to take the last shot.
Here's Garno. Salvaggio backing out, brought his defender into Garno's dodging space there.
Not helping Garno very much. There's the timeout we were talking about.
Yep, timeout by Haverford with a 7-4 score. They're going to look to extend on that. This is the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
Represent for Rough Rider Nation. The Rough Riders have been on top of the game since 2007. Rough Rider alums continue to shine and won national championships at all levels. Rough Rider teams dominate the countryside in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and now Virginia. Check us out online at roughriderlacrosse.com. It's time to ride or die.
1, 2, 3, ride!
Yo, Sean.
And here we are at Homewood Field. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver bringing it to you. Bob, what do you expect Haverford to come out of this timeout with?
42 seconds, so there's not going to be a shot clock violation. Coach Nostrand did a really nice job sort of milking that clock from 125 down to 42. Never got warned to go to the goal, so he's got the rest of the half to try to score this 8th goal.
Do you expect Landon to come out in zone?
No, I don't. Landon has not showed zone so far today. Coach Bordley has always been a big man-to-man guy, and it looks like that's what they're staying in. We go back to this matchup situation. Salvaggio is a really, really big, strong kid. With the ball, Garno has the pole. They're a wing attacking them, and they're going to look to swing it behind to the backside or look inside.
A lot of motion on the inside right now as Garno back to Salvaggio. Salvaggio, big, strong right-hander. Garno steps in, wants some. Here's Peyton Holloway. Holloway pushed behind by Geppert. Inside feed, shot, goal. And Bob, we're going to run out of using the word nifty, because that certainly was. Even though you won the race, that is fantastic offense by Haverford with 13 seconds left in the quarter.
Great offense, great patient offense. They attacked each top wing, and what they're basically looking to do was if they got something at the goal, they were going to go to the goal, and if not, they were looking to swing the ball behind, bring it to the other side from where they were attacking from, get the defense with their heads on a swivel. They got somebody inside.
Get their heads on not on a swivel. Well, that's how you sneak somebody in the back door.
What's that, the third or fourth goal that Landon scored on the inside? Excuse me, Haverford scored on the inside.
Ground ball picked up by Haverford, and they're going to just cheap it down the field 2-1. And don't go anywhere for halftime. We have the Under Armour Undeniable brought to you by Training Lace. Go to traininglace.com now and get your hands on the very comfortable, wrappable, wearable training device. Very low in weight, but very excellent as far as making you stronger and a better player. You can wrap it right around your stick, traininglace.com.
Undeniable, the road to the Under Armour All-America game.
out on that field is one thing. Immortality, boys. And there's no one who deserves it more than us. Big history tonight, boys.
Baltimore's always been a hotbed. You're almost born with a lacrosse stick in your hand. You go into your high school scene where the MIAA may be the best conference top to bottom, game to game in the nation with schools like Boys Latin.
Boys Latin is a perennial lacrosse powerhouse in the MIAA. The school has a history of producing top-tier lacrosse players in the Baltimore area.
The game plan all year long was you stop Shaq Stanwyck, you have a pretty good chance of stopping Boys Latin. No one was ever able to stop Shaq Stanwyck.
In 2013, Shaq helped lead the team to a 16-0 record, but they failed to secure the championship.
He has a tremendous skill set, but I think the thing that really stands out for me is what a great job he does allowing the game to come to him and making everybody around him better by doing that.
In 2014, things would be different. Shaq led Boys Latin to an incredible 18-0 record. Capping the season off with an MIAA championship victory over St. Paul's.
He not only showed why he's the #1 recruit from a talent and performance standpoint, but also think a leadership standpoint. That was his team this year. For them to come out on top undefeated and him to be the best player hands down in the area, maybe in the country, I think speaks to his prowess.
When they were young, we would play catch, and eventually it was like, you know, I can only catch so many balls, I've got stuff to do, I've got to cut the grass, you know, but maybe you might want to start throwing against the wall.
The wall was first introduced by Mr. Stanwyck to allow his children to hone their skills and practice rain or shine.
He just came out here, he measured out 6 by 6, painted it on. It's uneven a little bit, so it'll give you some bad passes and help us all work on catching it in awkward places, some stuff that you're going to do in games. You know, the more you practice, the more comfortable you're going to feel with your stick. And the more comfortable you feel with your stick, the better you're going to be. When you're out on the field, you're trying to make those quick decisions. You don't have to worry about what you're going to do with your stick because your mind already makes that up before you even do it. It's so important to have 2 hands in lacrosse. I'm a lefty, so I do 2 times the amount of righties that I do lefties. That's kind of just so I can get that right hand as good as my left hand.
The beauty of this thing was that you can play any time of the year. And it just got the kids out of the house, got them some exercise, and improved their skills.
I would time dinner around him, you know, and he would say, well, now I need 30 minutes, I'm going out to the wall. And I would be ready to serve, and I'd say, well, you're going out to the wall. I reheat more than I cook, so.
Probably around like 5th or 6th grade, instead of watching TV, I got out here. It was kind of like something to clear my head a little bit. At the same time, you're getting better, and you're just doing it because you love the game.
It's my dad. He's got that kind of brain that knows what it takes to be good at something. He thought you need to practice the way you play. And then the repetition has been huge, I think, in terms of getting everyone's hand-eye coordination. It stemmed from him. Obviously, he can't make you do the workout, so everyone else had the drive to get out there and play.
With the Stanwyck family, it's unbelievable level at which they play and the consistency from one child to the next. You know, it starts with Sheehan, the All-American at Georgetown, one of the best ever. Now you're talking about Shaq, and the potential that he has could really make an impact at Johns Hopkins University. And then you take the 6 in between, and they're just as good as, if not better, than the 2 bookends. The Stanwyck's wall in the garage has become legendary. That's where the kids get their start. That's where the groundwork's putting in the hard work against the wall, developing a right hand, developing a left hand, quick releases, accuracy, pinpoint passing, those kinds of things. This kind of goes back to being old school. Look at the sticks that the boys use, traditional pocket. I don't think the traditional has been in vogue now for the last 10, 12 years. You know, it's really an old school feel to the way they go about their business and the way they play the game.
For the Stanwicks, lacrosse is a family passion. All 7 of Shaq's siblings have played Division I collegiate lacrosse and have earned an array of accolades in recognition of their amazing talent.
It's more challenging today to step on a field and have an impact. What goes into becoming a great player today is different. talked about Shaq, and I've been watching him for years, not in organized lacrosse, but out on our field.
I want to be as good as I can be. On those days where it's like rainy or crappy weather, I try and get out there, go shoot, probably hit the wall.
Right now, for this summer, I want to become a lot stronger. I'm going to be going against guys that are going to be a lot taller, bigger, faster, stronger than me. Continue to work on important stuff in my game, stick skills, shooting, stuff like that to work on the whole summer, so a lot ahead to me.
The level of work ethic that a young man has to have, I think some are surprised when they get to Division I level. Just had an outstanding career, and we certainly are excited to welcome what we think is a great kid, a hard worker, and a skill set that will certainly help our program.
If he works the way he's worked throughout his high school career and he stays on track, he could be the next great Hopkins attackman.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International.
The champions of today inspire the stars of tomorrow over Memorial Day weekend. Just as the stars of college lacrosse will compete for the 2018 NCAA Championship in Foxborough, Massachusetts, youth lacrosse players from across the nation will also be playing for a title at the NCAA Future Champions Tournament. Each team will receive 20 tickets to the NCAA Championships and have the opportunity to be recognized on the field at Gillette Stadium. To learn more, check us out at cselax.com.
Maryland's top high school teams are in the spotlight at the PNC Lacrosse Invitational on Saturday, March 24th at Loyola's Ridley Athletic Complex. The girls' game features a Baltimore rivalry with Roland Park taking on Notre Dame Prep at 5. The boys' game follows with Severn facing MIAA rival Archbishop Spalding at 7. Log on to PNCinvitational.com for more information. The PNC Invitational, where high school lacrosse takes center stage.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Now buy a Tacoma with $750 cash back from Toyota, or get 0.9% APR. Or buy a Tundra and save with $1,250 cash back.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Back at Homewood Field, halftime here. Thank you to Training Lace. And just like the rug ties the room together, halftime highlights and stats tie the game together. Bob, let's take us through the highlights here of this Landon Haverford game.
This is Epstein with his patent change of direction left-handed. It's a really nice goal as a shot clock's winding down. McBride feeds it over to Malone. We get a lucky bounce, really, for Haverford. Salvaggio's on the doorstep, just picking up a loose ball. There's the second good change of direction by Epstein from Landon. This is at the end of the first quarter. Haverford had to try to get to the goal. They scored one with 1 second left to go, up 3-2 at the end of the quarter. Now it's pretty much all Haverford for the next couple minutes. Salvaggio down the wing. This is a nice inside. Oh, no, that's Holway with a great individual effort and a wonderful shot. There's Holway doing the same thing, but this time he elects to feed it inside to Malone.
And there's
incredible shot by O'Grady on a nice back feed. And here's Landon finally gets rolling here a little bit. Gebhardt coming down on a slow break, sort of, and Haverford didn't do a good job. And that is a big monster shot by Johnson from Landon to a great spot. It's an extra man goal that Haverford scored right at the end of the quarter to go up 8-4.
And you talked about those goals at the end of quarters. And in both instances there, Haverford was capitalizing. That could eventually be the difference in the game. 8-4 your score. Thrilled to have you joining us. Thank you for making us part of your sports viewing day. Third quarter brought to you by the Columbia Bank. Our friends at the Columbia Bank, they love to stop in the Valley Inn and watch the games. We're going to get the Valley Inn to start putting the sound on, Bob, so people can listen to the soothing tones of your voice as they did on the sideline for so many years.
What? I hope they weren't listening when I had a Landon guy covering the Landon guy. Hopefully I won't make that same mistake.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
This has been a neat battle the whole game between Testakis.
Testakos.
Hey. Oh,
shot goal.
Good Lord.
Goodness. unleashing one. Gavin Burke logs on to istingcorners.com.
Gavin Burke's the short stick defensive midi specialist for Haverford. He plays on the wings on faceoffs. Testakos comes up with that faceoff. Again, is a little bit of an unsettled. He steps down from about 12, 13 yards. I think that goaltender Laughlin would like to have that back again.
Yeah, it looked like it actually caught a little piece of his stick, little pump fake to hold the D, and you see Laughlin's reaction. You could tell he wanted a piece of it.
We have another penalty on Landon for a late hit or a untimely hit, I guess, on that shot. Haverford gets an opportunity to face off 3 versus 2 and have an extra man if they can win this draw.
And Testakos, the faceoff guy for Haverford, has been doing a fantastic job.
Landon countered that time with a pole on the faceoff. Landon's guilty of coming out of the box a little too early there.
Again, no play on.
Well, that's correct.
Referees for today's game: Richard Montgomery McGee, Jeffrey Lebowski, and Carmen D. John Domenico. I think that was Richard Montgomery McGee who didn't give the play on right there to Garno. And Garno's a guy with acceleration. Here's Malone up top. Man down, this man up brought to you by Towson Hot Bagels. Great check on the inside. Laughlin comes up with a Towson Hot Bagels. Go to THB. Great place to see your friends in the morning. Tell them you're going to meet them later at the Valley Inn.
Man down clear. Landon's working really hard to try to get the ball to the shorty Johnson.
4 seconds on the foul. Again, Towson Hot Bagels bringing the man up. Pass picked off, and here's Brenny McBride. And it's still a shot, so it's going to be Landon possession.
Great ride by McBride. Goaltender Mitch Laughlin running back into the goal and made a
But
nice
it's always
save.
a tough decision for the guy with the ball in that instance. Do you take the outside shot or you run it in? Because if you run it in, you run that risk of never getting a shot off and you get trail checked. But to no avail. Still 9-4 Haverford. Landon looking to close the gap as Mo Silla, the big dog, brings it in, touches it in the box, and now he will hustle off as he gives it to Zach Johnson. Not the PGA Tour Pro. This is not Zach Johnson that won the Masters or the British Open. Different Zach Johnson. Just making sure you're fully aware. Garrett Kurtz, number 10, far wing. And now it's back to Johnson. Geppert joins them on the midfield. Geppert does the fake pick and roll. He's got Eddie King guarding him now. Geppert, little acceleration now. King closes the gap. And this is Johnson. Johnson bull dodging, head up the whole way.
Nice defense by short stick midi Gavin Burke, who just scored that last goal for Haverford. Epstein drawing a crowd.
Early slide that time. Epstein carries the double outside, now moves it. This is Geppert. Third quarter brought to you by the Columbia Bank. Banking made easy. The Columbia Bank is proud to be the official bank of MIAA Lacrosse. And we have a shot clock now against Landon as they trail. And they're certainly not trying to stall. They're just looking for the best opportunity. Ball in and out of the stick of Kurtz. And here comes Garno. Looks like Garno. Gets it to Malone. Oh, what a save by Laughlin. That could change things.
They got a chance. Haverford, really nice substitution, getting the midi off the field and getting their pole back onto the field to thwart that looked like what a really good unsettled opportunity for Landon.
And again, this is, you talk about coaches. You got John Nostrand for Haverford, Rob Boardley for Landon. Two guys who have very stable programs, amazing assistant coaches. We talked a little bit about Landon. We have yet to talk about Mark Patron and Travis Loving, Paul O'Grady, some of the assistants at Haverford School. Peter Borer down there, Avery Cook, Jeremy Hart. As Fellheimer comes up with the loose ball, and now it's back. Here comes Gavin Burke. Burke gets it over to Hallway, and he will go for the sub. Salvaggio, and also coming in, Pierce Glavin, his dad Mo Glavin, Haverford class of 83, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of dads on these teams that I happen to know. Jackson Spar, Matt Costin, my man Guy Costin. A lot of Haverford stars out there shining. Of course, Ed Garno.
Haverford plays out of this 1-4-1 set a lot, and they wing dodge. They'll roll one of the guys in off the attack and look for a backside. Nice offense.
Hallway up top. Alley dodge again. You talk about good, smart ball movement, efficient offense so far today.
Now they have a little invert with O'Grady playing against the midi. Landon was forced to switch. Oh wow. Laughlin got a piece of that, and he actually deflected that shot up into the goal. It looks like it was going low to low, and if we see this on the replay, it looks like Laughlin got a piece of it, and as he's making the save and coming up with his hands a little bit, he deflects this ball right up into the corner. That's two very nice bounces that have gone Haverford's way, and sometimes, you know, they go the other way, and instead of it being 10-4, maybe it's 8-6 or 7 or something.
They're certainly making the most of the breaks they're getting today. The other thing they're making the most of, every time they've had a shot clock put on them, they've scored a goal.
Good point.
Not a bad way to run offense. Will Bowe wins the clamp and pulls away with possession. And here's Geppert. Soon to be Maryland Terrapin. Geppert. Oh! Shot off the crossbar. It's going to be Landon in possession, even though Luke O'Grady's hustling over there. With the score the way it is, you're going to give that to Landon.
Yeah. And look here, Booker. This is a classic flat break. That time Haverford did a little bit better job sliding up the field to Geppert, and he was forced to throw the ball to Epstein, who stung one off the pipe.
Post toasties. This is Johnson. Now to Kurtz. Kurtz. I'd love for him to sting a corner so I could say the horror. Johnson has it checked away. And another stripping. I'll tell you what, the Haverford defense. Jackson Spar. Strip delicious. And here come the forwards. Third quarter brought to you by Columbia Bank. ColumbiaBank.com. Bank easier, online, all the time. And remember the FDIC.
Booker, when we did the Haverford Boys Latin game about a month ago, we were commenting that this Haverford team isn't kind of the same team with the Docs Aikens who could just overpower you, you know, the great player who's just a sophomore at UVA, but it's a really quality lacrosse team, very, very well coached. They got a lot of guys whose skill they are taking really good advantage of, you know, whether they're good with the ball, without the ball, they run really quality patterns. And in Landon's case, I would say that this is one of Landon's weaker teams that we've seen. They just don't have the overall power that they're usually having. On attack, it seems like Epstein's the only guy that's capable of handling the ball consistently under duress. And in the midfield, they've got two guys that have shown well this game, Zach Johnson and Gebhardt. But after that, it's hard to, you know, get up and talk glowingly of any one of the Landon players, short of maybe most Silla on defense. And that's unusual for Landon. So
they also graduated a pile of talent last year.
Incredible. You know, they won the national championship last year as a high school. You're not going to come back with the same kids, obviously, and they're showing the effects of that. And most importantly, they don't have Shockey, you know, facing off winning 80%.
Although Will Bowe has performed admirably today. Shot clock again on Haverford, so look out. Here's TJ Malone. Inside shot, goal.
There's another one. You called it a
and
second
another
ago.
one.
That's the
another one.
fourth time today that the shot clock's been on that Haverford scored. That is a remarkable statistic.
4 for 4. They really are doing it.
That's Deck right there with a really nice inside roll. Senior attackman headed to Notre Dame. So it's not like they're completely void of the Doc Aikens of this world. You know, Garneau's going to Virginia, Deck's going to Notre Dame, O'Grady's going to Providence. They've got plenty of talent.
If you will it, it is no dream. A lot of faceoffs today for Testacos and Will Bow.
Well,
Landon in their home whites, Haverford Road Maroons. Will Bow comes away with it. Fast break for Landon. They're a bit of a flat break. And again, another post. Still a shot. Nice ground ball gathering that time by number 6, Jacob Solomon. Excuse me, number 5, Stephen Bow, younger brother of
William and a freshman.
Stephen Bow, a freshman for Landon. This is 25, Guy King, and he gets it right back to 23, Jace Menendez. Here's Stephen Bow. Oh, what a play by Stephen Bow. Just accelerating right there.
Stephen Bow, freshman, with a really nice re-dodge. He starts, he kind of stops and restarts his dodge. Catches the Haverford man just maybe relaxing a little bit too much. Watch this. Really nice, little slow. He stops and then he restarts the dodge. Makes a really nice shot. Far, little bit hip high, chest high.
Here you see that footwork that
There it
Bob's
is.
talking about.
He backs up and then he restarts, and the Haverford guy's a little guilty of getting too far up the field. And he gives him that alley. Bo took advantage of it.
$11-5 your score. Landon trying to roll their way back into this.
And now Stephen Bow's hoping older brother Will can give the Landon Bears another possession. Here comes Gebert. He is a big, strong kid. Nice defense by Landon's Charlie Cordisco. See, this is today I think I've seen about 4 or 5 different attack combinations for Landon, and the only consistent guy back on attack has been Epstein.
Yep.
So Coach Bordley's still figuring it out. Who are the kids that are going to give him the best chance for success? He's trying to give everybody a chance to play.
And here is Epstein. Comes off the pick by Kurtz. Gets a switch. Now he has a short stick. There's going to be an early slide. Talk about an early slide. Your man number 21, Mo Mangabwe, was off the crease early. Here's Epstein. Tough pass to Handle up top. And against some of that youth, Evan Schwartz, just a sophomore.
Number 22 has been a really good presence for Haverford today. Gavin Burke scored a goal. Short stick defensive midi. Anybody that watches enough college lacrosse, I think most college lacrosse coaches would say it's arguably the most important position on their team, short of the face-off and the goalie. You know, the face-off guy and the goalie. But, you know, we've seen so many great players at the college level influence lacrosse games from that short stick defensive midfield position, and Burke's doing the same here today.
Just over a minute remaining here in the third quarter, brought to you by Columbia Bank. Columbia Bank is proud to be the official bank of MIAA Lacrosse.
Well, so far we've seen Haverford be ridiculously efficient. They scored a goal right at the end of the first quarter, right at halftime. They scored 4 goals. They scored 4 goals with the shot clock on, and they almost got another one in the last minute of the third quarter.
Almost got a greasy one right there. Mitch Laughlin goes out to pick off the pass. Crease violation against Haverford. Gives the ball back to Landon. And here's Wellington. the IAC Player of the Year in ice hockey. Pushes it up the wing. And Jason Menendez. And they got 4 guys back. So Stephen Bowe's fine. And he's got Geppert behind him if he gets it to him with 15 seconds in the quarter. Here's Geppert.
Got to get his teammates out of the way.
His teammates
They're a little slow getting set up there.
Epstein comes around, one-hands it. Still 3 seconds. Geppert, shot goal! And Landon turns the tables on Haverford, and they close the gap. Still 0.8 seconds remaining, but what a play by Geppert. Talk about field awareness.
Great ground ball. Watch him muscle when he picks up this shot. He muscles and gets to his left hand, not his strong hand, and makes a beautiful low and away shot. Fellheimer's got no shot at that one.
Tremendous effort by Geppert. And again, one of those face-offs that nobody really going to keep track of. Both guys probably just going to stand up with 0.8 seconds. I really do think it's hard to score a goal. And that'll bring about the end of the third quarter. 11-6 your score. This is the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
Protect the plate now, Scotty.
We've got a lot going on this spring. We could really use a new car.
Did you say you could use a new car?
Yeah.
Come with me.
Scotty! Hustle up!
And now's the time to get a great deal on a new Toyota.
Mind?
Sure. Here you go. Okay, here you go. Yeah.
Right now, lease a Highlander for only $279 a month, or buy with $1,000 cash back, or pick a Sienna with 0.9% APR.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Corrigan Sports Enterprises is a full-service sports marketing and event management company. Every detail from marketing, public relations, logistics, and cleanup, Corrigan Sports Enterprises handles events from conception to fruition. The premier lacrosse and field hockey recruiting tournaments and high-profile running events. Corrigan Sports Enterprises, bringing your dreams to life.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? We got the national rankings here by Inside Lacrosse. Here's your DC, IAC, and your Pennsylvania. What do you think there, Bobby?
Well, it's interesting that Georgetown Prep is #1 in the DC area. St. Stephen, St. Agnes, my lord, they beat Hill Academy, the only game Hill's lost this year. I think we'll see by the end of the year that Bullis will move up considerably in that. They just haven't had the same schedule that some of those other schools have. In PA, Episcopal Academy, they got handled pretty good, I believe, by McDonough, and I think Haverford will overtake them before the end of the year.
And Malvern is still finding their identity a little bit. I went and watched the Malvern-Loyola game last week. Early this week. Shared an umbrella with Loyola coach Mark Van Arsdale of Hobart lacrosse fame.
What a good battle the face-off X has been today. I think that Haverford's gotten a little bit of the best of it, but it's been a pretty consistent battle. All the face-offs have, very few have come out clean. They've been a little bit of a 50-50 contest. It's been good.
And they called Testakos for playing without a stick. He got a stick knocked out of his hand. So it's going to be landed possession. Here's Kurtz.
That's a tough call sometimes.
It certainly
you
is.
watch this kid lose his stick, and he just bends over to pick it up, and they'll, and if he makes contact with anybody, he is playing without a stick. But he's just trying to pick his cross up.
Graham Hertzberg, number 21, freshman attackman. Considerable size as Geppert drives in, draws a slide. Kurtz. Great bounce shot there by Kurtz. 11:06 to go. Fourth quarter provided by Durham Capital, providing non-traditional sources of capital and public-private companies worldwide. Check out Durham Capital. Here's Epstein.
Quick slide. You've referred to that all day. Haverford's very quick to go on Epstein. Oh, he didn't quite get up high enough before he dropped the head of his stick. Haverford has changed goaltenders, by the way. Sarge Garito's getting a chance to play here in this fourth quarter.
Good to see it. Little substitutions there. And a nice save by Garino. Garito.
He's a big kid like Fellheimer. I guess they're growing him big up there in Haverford, PA.
Corn-fed. Real farm country up there in Haverford. Haverford with possession. This is Garno. Salvaggio across the hallway. Peyton Hallway, a little head of steam going against Geppert. Geppert's played a lot of defense today as well.
They need him on the field. Again, talking about Haverford's, kind of new group. They got to rely on the few veterans that have remained on the team from last year, Geppert being one of them.
Wellington comes in.
Good save. Really nice save.
And here Wellington still back in, gets it behind to Epstein. Not Juan Epstein from Welcome Back Cotter, but Joey Epstein. Oh, Epstein! With a note signed by Epstein's doctor.
Epstein's got, I don't know any of your movie quotes, so you're talking Chinese.
Cotter.
You're talking Chinese to me. Epstein, he hardly looks like he's running, but he's got really subtle speed, and he gets to the front of the goal very quickly and just basically gets a half a step on his defenseman. He's capable in that play of reaching around his defenseman, and actually the shot was around the goal.
Yep.
Great
Size
play.
and speed.
Yeah.
Size and speed right there by Epstein.
I watched him play football this fall. Landon had a game at Boys Latin that I watched, and Epstein is also a terrific football player.
Mo Silla, tremendous.
Returns punts, and of course so is Mo Silla.
Haverford with the face-off win.
Coach Sean Nadalin is very excited about Mo Silla coming to Towson University. He's a defender, and Coach Nadalin teaches defense as well as anybody in the country.
I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Nadelin's spooking around in here somewhere, right?
I don't know what their schedule is this weekend, Towson. Probably in conference, because they played Duke out of conference last weekend.
No, Denver. They have Duke and Denver back-to-back. Now I think they have like a Drexel or a someone.
Yeah, Denver's playing Georgetown on Saturday in Washington. There's Garno. First time Garno's really taken a shot the whole game. He's a kid that's intent to just be part of the offense. He doesn't have to be the offense, which we were impressed with earlier this year.
Does not force things. Salvaggio now with the long stick.
I'm going to see a shot clock probably again. They've been warning Landon, Haverford consistently. As I say, what else happens? They go to the rack and score a goal.
TJ Malone with that one. Fourth quarter brought to you by Durham Capital. Here's Salvaggio down the wing.
Salvaggio behind the Malone. This is Malone. I believe this is his third goal. He scored them with the ball and without the ball, showing what Coach Nostrand thought was going to be one of their strengths this year was their offensive, especially their attack play. Malone, Deck, O'Grady, Salvaggio, who's a natural attackman, McBride, Garno. And sure enough, they've scored 12 goals in this game, which against Landon is honestly highly unusual. They typically are a really sound defensive team, and they're struggling today with Haverford's personnel.
It goes back to what you've taught me today. 4 of them were with the shot clock on, and 2 of them were at the end of quarters with less than 2 seconds left in a period. Here's Zach Johnson. Guarded by Burke. Gets it to Epstein. Oh, Burke with the fake. I tell you, Burke lost some guy. I'm sorry, Johnson with the fake. Zach Johnson pump fakes to Geppert and just waltzes in. Here's
Look
Epstein.
who's involved in this play. 1, 4, and 7. Watch, there's 7. Actually, then what a great fake by Johnson. He just box faked the kid out on that far wing, and the Haverford guy fell asleep, goes in for a layup. Garrido's probably not too happy with the defense in that play, and I'm sure Coach Nostrand isn't too happy with the defense on that play. He's scratching his head down there. Look at him.
Coach Nostrand doesn't scratch his head a whole lot. He shaves it more than he cuts it more than he scratches it. Will Bow with the face-off win, although he is getting double and triple teamed. Nice play. Hertzberg,
Great play.
That's still a shot. Still a shot, even though it was well wide. Backed up by Gilbert Senimore.
Landon isn't out of this thing yet. There's 7 minutes left. It's 12-8. They got the right personnel on the field. There's Epstein getting
the one-handed. I think Coach Benson and Coach Petramala might be looking at the one hand saying to themselves, enjoy it while it lasts.
Anything to get the ball in the back of the net that works, I think they're happy with.
Kurtz. Epstein shot. I'll tell you what, he put some velocity on that one.
Landon just then ran a little bit of a mumbo play where Gebert started on the crease. Number 10 drives up to the middle of the field. The far wing guy comes in and sets a pick for Gebert. He just steps out and hopes to get that step down shot.
Epstein with the shot, saved by Garrido, and he is now in a hot, sloppy mess. Gets it off Nigaman, and they just ice it. Landon comes up with a pick-off, but O'Grady steals it away. Now it's going to be Haverford possession. They pick up the loose ball and retreat.
Great poise by Haverford.
Great play by O'Grady.
Yeah, terrific. A nice poise by Haverford. They still had time to clear the ball.
You are watching the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week, presented by FCA Lacrosse. A huge thank you to our sponsors, the Valley Inn, Mason-Dixon Lacrosse, of course, Training Lace and their halftime Towson Hot Bagels and the Man-Ups, and of course the Columbia Bank and Durham Capital. Fortunate to be here, Booker Corrigan and Bob Shriver bringing the call. Our next game, 4:30 today, Culver at McDonough, and then on April 3rd, it's Gilman at Coward Hall as the MIAA regular season heats up. The out-of-conference has been fantastic so far, don't you think?
Incredible. Teams from the MIAA and these teams from Washington and Philadelphia, Culver coming from Indiana. It's been some great intersectional games played in this area and by teams in this area. It's been a lot of fun. Weather's cost everybody 1 or 2 games, though.
Oh! The dude abides.
Peyton Holway's had a good game today.
Peyton Holway. Talking about drawing a line in the sand, dude. Across this line, you do not.
I don't know whether we'll get a chance to see this play one more time, but number 14, Scott Deck, initiates, and watch. He throws the ball back behind the goal to his teammate, who swings it back to the backside to a step-down shot by Holway, and Deck started that whole play by making what we like to call a pass and not the pass. He was more intent on running the offense properly than making something for himself. That was classic,
and
unselfish lacrosse.
Won't show up on the score sheet. And you know what else he did? After he threw that pass, he retreated to make sure they had the backup.
Terrific. And for you hockey fans, and I know that's one of your big things, Booker, they would give Deck an assist on that play. And sometimes lacrosse teams will refer to that as a hockey assist and make sure a kid is properly credited for making such a nice play.
We had an attackman a long time ago, Collins Carey, who led the world in hockey assists. Big, strong dodge that time by Landon. It's number 37.
Heads-up play. Senimore couldn't pick that ball up, but it was off a shot. He just protected the ball as it was going out of bounds, and he maintained possession for Landon. Had he gone for the ball, the defenseman probably would have checked it out of bounds, and they'd have lost possession. Just little smart plays that make such a difference during the course of a lacrosse game and really a lacrosse season.
Yep. Gilbert Centimore behind the cage now as Menendez bobbles it a couple times. A little stumble. And Epstein working hard to try and get the ball.
And Nigaman working harder to try to prevent him from getting the ball. Did a nice job. Haverford defenseman.
There he is. Now he gets a backside. Oh, goes for the high shot off the outside roll. And Haverford wins possession. Credit number 16, Jack Leary.
Epstein, he's been guilty a couple times of not getting up high enough on these behind to top dodges, I'd like to call them. That time he got up high enough and he just shot that over the goal. Goalie didn't have to make a save. But he's so quick. You know, when he gets to the goal line extended, that's a good spot for him. But he is so quick, I think he could get even a little bit higher if he'd work, maybe just be a little bit more patient on his dodge. Coach Nostran might. No, he's not too happy with that play.
And here's Hagerup, Alex Hagerup carrying it over midfield, and here's Epstein. And they are going to have to go, and there's a timeout on the field. Landon will take a timeout. 13-8 your score. Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
The MIAA is the most competitive lacrosse conference in the country. The 2018 MIAA Lacrosse Semifinals and Championships will be held May 15th and 18th at Towson University's Johnny Unitas Stadium. For a glimpse into the future of the collegiate game, the MIAA, where the stars of tomorrow play for a championship today.
Back at Homewood Field. And there's your upcoming spring schedule for the game of the week. We are at the Landon Haverford game. We got St. Paul's Loyola coming up. Trey Whitty, the new coach there. Calvert Hall, McDonough, and then McDonough be other. Absolutely fantastic schedule.
Look at those games. Look at the teams. It's great to have Gilman sort of back on the schedule. They've been off the board here the last couple years, but they're having a good start to their year. They just beat St. Stephen, St. Agnes, and as I mentioned earlier, a team that beat the Hill Academy. So it's great having a little variety there. We got Severn playing. It's an impressive-looking schedule.
Severn's a little sneaky team. I think they might be a playoff team this year.
They got a couple great players.
Geppert, quick offensive thirst. And now it's Zach Johnson. Johnson driving right-handed. Epstein loses his man behind.
Quick slide by
Turn
Haverford.
the corner.
Ooh,
They've hit some pipes today,
yeah,
too.
They have. They've hit 3 posts. Epstein, that's his second one.
Here's Kurtz. Kurtz looking to make something happen. Shot deflected on its en route to the goal. And Coach Shriver, let's think about who do you think is going to be the Under Armour underclass tryout player of the game as Epstein comes around and scores. He's certainly, we don't normally pick one from the losing team, but he's played well.
He has played well. From a purely perspective, you know, looking at the winning team or what appears to be the winning team, we've still got 2 minutes left. But, you know, I think we've got to look at Haverford's overall success. Might start at the face-off X. I think it's been a good battle, but I think Testakis has had a little bit better of it. Although, if I'm looking up here, I really think Malone's had a terrific game for Haverford. He scored with and without the ball, a couple big goals at the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
You know, that goal that just put him back up as Landon made a little run here in the fourth quarter. He just scored that goal to give him Haverford their 13th goal.
Luke O'Grady maybe get a vote or two.
Yeah, Luke with a that high riser. But Malone overall has probably been the most productive player on Haverford's team.
The Under Armour Underclass Tryouts Player of the Game, TJ Malone, number 30 for Haverford. Salvaggio made a great little middle of the game.
Yeah, Salvaggio scored a couple really nice goals. One of them was a fortunate bounce. It just bounced up into his stick, but very nicely done. I'm surprised they haven't warned Haverford yet. Oh, they did. I did not see the ref put his hands up in the air. Excuse me.
Salvaggio, he kind of earned that. You hate to score one too late against the team when you're up, but he ran a full lap around the field. He looked like a NASCAR driver there taking lefts for a little while.
Watching Salvaggio on this particular play, I'll bet he ran close to 100, 150 yards. And he ends up netting the 14th goal, and certainly that's the icing on the cake in this game. Landon did a great job pressing out, trying to put the ball on the ground. It's so hard to chase people all over the field, especially when it's really wide open. And give Haverford equal credit for handling it really well, culminating in a goal.
Ground ball pickup as Haverford definitely has some substitutes in. Nolan Killeen, Jake McCarthy in. I'm looking at Jack Denius. Denius is going to pick it up now. Quentin Campbell. Not sure if he's related to my man Rick Campbell. Freddie. Here's Gavin McBride. McBride's played well all day today.
Gavin, I think, is Brennan's older brother. Yeah, I'm not sure, though.
You are correct, sir.
We've had a little trouble with the names today. Well, I've had the most trouble with them. Great check.
My man, Jordy Holmes. His dad, Bill Holmes, played at W&L, class of '86. Jordy Holmes getting some run in there for the Haverford Fords. Number 31. In honor of Pelly Lindbergh. And I'll
New York Ranger or a Philadelphia Flyer?
Philadelphia Flyer.
By the way, did you by any chance watch the Caps game last night?
I did not.
Oh, you should see this goal.
I was with Mary last night.
You should see the goal because Netsov scored to win it in overtime. Those guys who play professional hockey, they're just so talented. Yeah. It really is crazy.
And there it is. The final horn blows, 14-9, your final score in the Kelly & Associates Game of the Week presented by FCA Lacrosse.
Just a great intersectional game, two of the great programs in the country. Haverford against Landon, Coach Borley against Coach Nostrand. So many great alums from these these two programs. It's an awesome opportunity to see these guys come down to Maryland, play at Homewood Field. On a first nice day we've had in about 3 weeks.
Yep, it has been a while since we've had weather like this. Booker Corrigan and Bob Shriver bringing you the call. We're going to get you a highlight package of our Under Armour Underclass Player of the Game, TJ Malone, for Haverford School. Bob, let's look through this. Here's Brenny McBride with the first assist.
Yeah, this was at the end of the shot clock and at the end of the quarter. The shot clock's on. There's about 1 second left in the first. In the shot clock, excuse me, and Malone sneaks in behind his defenseman. McBride makes a great feed.
Here's Holway driving the alley, and he finds Malone in on the inside.
There's Malone playing again without the ball. Salvaggio right here, throwing it behind the goal. Malone driving hard, banging his third goal of the game. And then we saw him score that goal at the at about the 3-minute mark at the end of the fourth quarter here when Landon was making a little bit of a run, and that goal is fourth of the game, basically iced it for Haverford.
For Invicta and all of our friends here at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field, and for Bob Shriver, I'm Booker Corrigan saying thanks so much for making us a part of your sports viewing day, and remember, you only get one shot at today.